Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
It was named after Vince Lombardi. You play in Green Bay. As important as it is to any other team, it means more to us.
When he walked into the meeting, he looked us right in the eye. He said, "Gentlemen, we're going to relentlessly chase perfection."
My first thought was on any play with my arm strength, I may not let anybody know this, but my first thought was home run. On every play. On every play.
He did what? Fires into the end zone. Touch! Touchdown! No!
Welcome back to the Packers Corner. I think this is the most excited I've been for a podcast since we've been doing this. Heck of a win. And in honor of that, I kind of want to take a trip down memory lane here, guys. We've had a lot of chalk on the Jordan Love thing over the course of a number of years, going back to a different format of the podcast. We hit the 50 subscriber mark, and in honor of both of those things, I just want to take a little bit of a trip down memory lane.
Let's go. The Miami Dolphins have traded the 26th pick to the Green Bay Packers. With the 26th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select
Jordan Love, quarterback, Utah State.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Walk it off. He's out.
No.
Bro.
Will Aaron answer his phone now?
No, we should not call him.
So you got, what's the best case scenario for this guy? When does he play?
Bakersfield, California.
3 years.
Entered high
3.
school at 5'6". He's currently 6'3". He received one FBS scholarship from Utah State. He threw 17 interceptions last year, but that was with a new offensive coordinator and 9 new starters. Green Bay Packers fans, I assume, are not happy. If Ty is any indication of the rest of the Green Bay Packers fans, this was a team that made it to the NFC Championship last year. This is a team that's quarterback said last year that he can see hole 18 or whatever. So maybe that's leading to this, but that's a team that gave up 186 yards before contact in the NFC Championship game, drafting a backup quarterback and trading up to do so. What a wild move for the Green Bay Packers here, AJ. I'm not 100% sure what the hell is going on.
A lot of people compare this guy to a Patrick Mahomes. He's got that upside, that athleticism, the ability to make some of those special throws that Green Bay has seen for a number of years with Aaron Rodgers. So it's about preparing for the future, getting that next quarterback. But I am a bit surprised because I know Aaron Rodgers is thinking, get me some more weapons. I want to win more before I retire.
I got a text from Griffey that read, for whatever reason, I always envisioned 10 at the helm this year whenever I thought about this team.
And I had been saying that all offseason. Just like when I close my eyes and think about the Packers, for some reason, number 10 is at quarterback. Every time. Give me one reason why Aaron Rodgers should start any more games for the Green Bay Packers.
Hey, I guarantee you every NFC North team is excited to see Jordan Love. Ecstatic. I guarantee it, Green Bay Packers. Nobody will fear you going forward. Understand that. There is not a game somebody's going to see the Green Bay Packers in without Aaron Rodgers in the jersey and have fear for you. So congratulations on all your years of walking into stadiums and having one of the best players on it. You don't have it anymore. So hate me all you want, But understand, you had something great for a long time. You didn't appreciate him on his way out. Wait and see.
Packers Corner, checking in from Salzburg, Austria. And wow, what a performance by the Green Bay Packers. They pull it off in the fourth quarter. Oh my God, Jordan Love might just be that guy. It might just be that we are blessed with the gods, the football gods, shining down on us. I didn't want to believe it, but he has all the talent in the world. Reminiscent of our friend number 12. I miss him dearly, but 10 just might make me forget about him that quick.
That was a big one because, as I alluded to, it brings into call, dare I say it, some playoff scenarios. I want to look ahead.
He did it. Why do you do this? Why do you do this to our poor listeners? They tune in, the faithful, every week, and then you got to spew garbage like this. Why? Why are you the way that you are?
Schmitty, you want to see some optimism? Let's say we get it done against the Lions here. 100% we're in the playoffs, my friend. Let's go. Schmitty, what are your thoughts on our Thanksgiving matchup?
I initially looked at how the Lions played the Chargers a couple weeks back, I think, and it was really a boat race, and how our injuries worked out going into this game. You consider, all right, you don't have Aaron Jones. You're going to rely heavily on Dillon. Your tight end, Musgrave, is out. You're probably going to get yourself involved in another boat race. Thankfully, we just had a quarterback that just threw for over 300 yards, and it hasn't been done in the last 2 seasons. So you have that going for you. The Packers are 7.5-point underdogs. Quite the spread. 11:30 kickoff. Who knows what can happen, Griffey? I've had myself some poor night's rest in a hotel. I've had some really good ones. So hopefully the Packers are staying up at the Ritz-Carlton of near Ford Field, if one exists. My friend, put that calculator back up, that 99%. Packers are going to win tomorrow. They're going to win by 3 points. It's going to be 35-32. Pack. Hit the over. Hit Jordan Love overs. All the touchdowns to Reed and Wicks. We're going to put on a show. I think, what's his name? Jack Harlow is going to be singing at halftime. He's going to be singing the tunes of the Green Bay Packers.
I think we get to see that Jordan Love test that I think we all want to witness. How can this guy, can he rattle off 2 incredible wins? And I got my yo-yo here, Griffey. I'm going to be doing walk the dogs around the worlds because, my friend, the Packers are going to win 23-20 on Sunday Night Football.
I'm going to predict they're going to shock the world Sunday night, and Jordan Love is going to pay back the Chiefs for the rude treatment that they gave him down at Arrowhead Stadium.
Well, your brother Greg, of course, Dad, is the one who we've had an ongoing discussion with, and he's been maybe the leading Jordan Love skeptic. Not that he's coming down on him too hard, but he hasn't seen enough, as he put it. I would have words for the folks in that camp that we need to anticipate where the ball is going to be, not run to where the ball is. And with Jordan Love in that case, I think where the ball is going to be is that he is going to get into the MVP discussion this year, and that he is going to be on a level with Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre someday in the future. How about a way to start off the show? I couldn't resist a little bit of a victory lap for all of us. Let's give a shout out to the whole Packers corner. We had a clean sweep. Shout out to Derek here too. 4 for 4. The Packers get it done against the defending Super Bowl champion. This has been multiple years in the waiting here. I've been waiting for an episode like this. Dad, can we crown Jordan Love? Can we do it now?
Well, we might want to just bridle our enthusiasm a little bit. As hard as it is to say that, it'd be pretty easy to ride high. It's, I can't help, was talking to your mother about this, to harken back. This is one of those a little bit like Brett Favre's debut against Cincinnati, coming off the bench to throw those 2 hole shots to Kittrick Taylor and win his first start. And there's just something jubilant and about the youth of the team and about the ascending. We've talked about the ascending nature of many young players. It's official, guys. We have an ascending team, not just ascending young talent all over the field, but we have an ascending group that's coming together right before our very eyes and has miraculously changed the entire narrative of the season. I think I was on record as saying here as recently as a week or two ago, wouldn't it be great if we could get ourselves in position in December to maybe play some meaningful games where we might have some play. Phooey, baloney, bull crap on that. That's nothing. It's no good now if we don't make the playoffs. So I think we would all agree we'll be disappointed if we don't make the playoffs. But so the narrative has changed. And I will just say this to try to maybe bring a little sanity to our discussion. As wonderful as these last 3 games, especially the last 2 against some premier teams in the league, I think winning the next 3 against teams with losing records will be as a big an accomplishment if we can pull it off, favored as we are, riding high, as winning the last 3. And if they're able to win those 3, then there's some mea culpas that I sure need to have in terms of some of the coaching and perhaps even the whole organizational structure. But I'll just wait and see where we are and watch very interestedly as to how we can proceed one game at a time through the next 3. And then you find yourself on what, New Year's Eve in Minnesota. Let's see what our record looks like then, and we'll go from there.
Schmitty, a couple weeks ago, you and I both sat here and picked the Lions and the Chiefs back to back. We had won the big game against the Los Angeles Chargers with a little bit of good fortune. What caused the change for you? What gave you spark for a bit of hope there as we headed into Thanksgiving, and what caused you to pick us against the Chiefs?
Griffey, dumb luck that I picked the Packers to cover 2 touchdown spreads. I don't think anyone realistically thought that the Packers could pull this off. It was just a matter of riding high. You thought you saw something against the Chargers. They were able to overcome some things that didn't go their way. They pull out a 3-point game. You go into Thanksgiving and you're just like, we're playing with house money, right? And so I thought that they could boat race them. They did. And then, Griffey, when you're at the blackjack table and you see a 10, you see the dealer with the 5, you press, my friend. You keep pressing, okay? And that's what we did against the Chiefs. We're at the casino with about 2 duffel bags full of cash that the casino just handed over to us, and that's the kind of feeling I have. I'm tingling all over, Griffey. That fantastic video that you just supplied with us with. How can you not be absolutely ecstatic with the performance that we've seen in the last 3 weeks? Seemingly so. They looked dead in the water, Griffey. I said maybe a month, 6 weeks ago, I didn't believe ascension was a word a lot around our team. That descending, we were down a dark road, and all of a sudden we have a bright light in the form of number 10, Jordan Love. He seemingly is the coolest guy on the block. How he was able to really, he didn't look. There wasn't any look on his face on Sunday that said, "I don't know what the heck I'm doing out here." He was controlling of the entire thing. 3 touchdowns, 267 yards. The offensive line, I called out the 2 my 2 points at the end of last week. I wanted to see the offensive line play well. I wanted to see Tucker Kraft go into that tight end role, that tight end number 1 role. it all happened, Griffey. It's unexplainable. I think that we've had this 180 of 4-6 weeks ago to now. We, as Gar stated, it would be an absolute shame if we cannot make the playoffs. It is all there in front of us. Run the table. God, wouldn't that be cool if number 10 said that in the press conference here after we roll the Giants? It's definitely a possibility. This is about the coolest time to be a Packers fan since maybe the greatest show on turf, Lambeau, when we had all of our fan favorites, and Rodgers was leading us to an undefeated season until we ran into the Chiefs about 10 years ago. This is a really cool feeling, knowing that you have a great ball club that can put a fantastic product out there. I'm tingling all over. I got it running down my spine right now.
Well, I thought our old friend number 12 had some interesting thoughts on what we all witnessed. It was actually, he was having his birthday party, as he describes in the clip. Got a little bit of a shorter clip, but I thought it was a good juxtaposition to the level of ecstasy that I've had over the past couple days, and I'm ready to crown Jordan Love. Aaron Rodgers doesn't exactly pump the brakes, but let's take a listen here.
We've talked to you this year. You've kind of said how you've reached out to Jordan Love after certain games, and for a good chunk of the season there, it was, hey, he is the guy, and then it's, hey, he's not the guy. We still need to see him down the stretch, what he can do, and now it's kind of flipped back to he is the guy. And we've always talked about like accuracy is kind of the one thing where either you have it or you don't. Guys typically don't just like become more accurate in the NFL, and maybe that's not true, or to an extent it is, but have you been surprised with what he's done over the last couple weeks here? Kind of like, confirming that, hey, maybe the Packers do finally have this next guy after Aaron, and he is going to be the guy for the future?
No, I'm not. And he's playing especially the last 3 games, he's playing outstanding, but he's in his first year starting. Like, as well as he's playing, can we not crown him right now?
Yeah.
For his own sake.
Mm-hmm.
Because we shouldn't do that to kids. We shouldn't crown them, and we shouldn't cancel them.
Darius, just crown him.
Yeah, I'll crown.
Okay, go ahead. That's fine. I love Jordan. I think he's going to be a great player in the league for a long time.
Yeah.
But can we let him play his career?
Mm-hmm.
It's both sides too. People. A great example is Geno Smith. People just kicked him out of this town, and then he went and was a backup for 6 years. And then he went to a Pro Bowl. And sometimes it's situation. Sometimes it's change of scenery. Sometimes it's figured something out. I do believe you can get better at accuracy because you throw the football from the ground up. So you learn how to have great fundamentals. Everything else, when you sync those together, everything else is going to be better. So am I surprised by the way Jordan's played? No. Am I happy for him? Hell yeah. I think there's, and there's some people that probably like this, but there's some people probably thinking that I was rooting against the Packers this year, rooting against Jordan. Couldn't be farther from the truth. I'm not a bitter person about that. Like, obviously, I wish things had gotten different when I was in Green Bay. And there's things that I wish I had done better. But I have so much love for the organization. I have so many people I still talk to, every single week that work there. If I catch Jordan's game, I usually send him a message. I was at a birthday party Sunday. I didn't see the game. But what was I doing?
You were watching it.
I was asking you every few seconds, how's Jordan doing? What's the score? Because I keep in touch with how they're doing. And
I got to go talk to a super famous guy. Come back. What's the score of the game?
So I'm not surprised at all. I also think for all these young kids that are playing, let's give them some time to develop. You crown somebody too early, the expectations, the weight of that is tough to deal with. You bury somebody right away, dealing with that type of negativity and pressure is hard for people to come back from.
Yeah, but what are we supposed to say?
Well, it's sets like this, not shows like this.
I mean, it counts down. That's the
Just we get upset.
I don't watch that, so I'll just withhold my comment.
Hey, Big Perk's on there. He's worth a watch.
Park it.
Big Perk is worth a watch.
There's some thoughts from old number 12. I thought that was interesting. It doesn't sound like a guy that's going to pull a full Brett Favre and end up on the Minnesota Vikings. So we can feel good about that, I sure hope. A lot of kind words about the organization and Jordan Love. Dad, what's your reaction to what we heard from Aaron Rodgers there?
I think we kind of talked about this last week, that everybody, Colin Cowherd, for example, and some of the other talking heads. Jordan Love will never be Aaron Rodgers, will never be Brett Favre. He's maybe going to be a career backup. And I see Colin Cowherd backpedaling heavily on that now. And I said, he doesn't have to be any of those guys. He has to compete with Brock Purdy and Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts. And right now, I have no worries about him competing with those guys. And then let his career evolve, let the team ascend and come together and just have fun with it. Like Schmitty said, it's pure unadulterated fun to watch a young team performing to a level that gives you hope, and just enjoy the heck out of it one game at a time, because it doesn't come very often. I'm not so sure that this stage of watching the Green Bay Packers come together and become competent as a potential perennial playoff contender. Can't believe I said that. I don't mean this year necessarily, but maybe. You never know. But just enjoy that ride. Because remember, when you're on the top and you're expecting Super Bowl every year, somehow there isn't quite as much joy in that, is there? I mean, so let's just enjoy the heck out of this with this young team and see where it takes us. And I think we can. I mean, the old Leroy Butler talks about the barbershop, poll that he likes to take the temperature of the team at the barbershop. And we got kind of the Deer Shack coefficient there. And I just would wonder now if there's anybody out there with the Deer Shack, the barbershop, that says, I haven't seen enough. Maybe there still are some. I mean, we were arguing 2 or 3 weeks ago, does this guy have arm talent? I don't think you and I were, Griff. But I mean, I've even go back to the bad stretch where we lost 4 in a row, whatever it was. Even in those games, I saw arm talent. I saw throws. In the Oakland game, he had 2 drops, and Musgrave dropped one, and I can't remember if it was Dobbs or Jaden Reed that dropped one on 3rd down and 10. If those guys catch those balls, we may go down, score the winning touchdown, and the narrative is completely flipped. So you've got to be able to appreciate the nuance. And now we're seeing it come together. And Schmitty, just lastly, I just couldn't agree more. You look at Jordan Love's face when he comes to the line of scrimmage, and he calls the play off, switches the play, gets you out of a bad look. And it's just like he's looking at Steve Spagnuolo and saying, you know what? You treated me like a red-headed stepchild a couple years ago, and you put my mother in the last row of Arrowhead Stadium, and here's one, boom, right to the chops. Take that. Take another one. Take another one. How about 3 touchdown drives right down the field? You throw whatever you got at me. Throw your best blitz. Let's see what you can do. 4th and 1. And sure, for one night, it sure was fun and exciting to see Jordan Love manage the team the way he did, not only physically, but mentally at the line of scrimmage and with the confidence of his teammates.
He was in absolute complete control. It was a thing of beauty to watch. It's tough not to get giddy all over again about that, Dad. You're absolutely right. However, Schmitty, do you have any thoughts with regards to the Aaron Rodgers clip we just took a look at?
Griffey, to start, I am in the crown and shovel business. Okay. After a win, I want to put a crown on his head. If he loses, I'm there in a shovel, digging 6 feet below my feet. All right. I think with that said, Aaron, who I absolutely love to death, I wish I could kiss the man. I see him in my dreams at night. Okay. Have a good soft spot for my friend number 12. Yeah, he's absolutely correct, Griffey. We do need to pump the brakes. Okay. We do need to let this thing play out. We have just won 2 spectacular games where you, I, Gar, everyone else that's a Packers fan is absolutely walking on clouds right now. All right. However, you got another 5 games, as Gar said. It's a huge testament to the Packers if they're able to take care of business and find a playoff berth by going 3-2, probably gets you in 4-1. It says a lot about a team if they're able to put away the bad teams, which I'm concerned that our team, the youngest in the league, might not have that makeup, might not have where they roll out of bed knowing that they're They're expected to win. Can they perform? I really appreciate the best teams in the league, the Eagles of the world, because typically, regardless, they are putting their best foot forward every game. All right. I don't know if we have that exactly in us, because just before these past 3 weeks, we were in an abysmal state. So I get concerned. However, again, it would be really cool if Jordan can take this all the way. I texted both of you guys during the game. I said 6 years, $245 million. That might be the going rate if this guy makes the playoffs. Not even a playoff win. No one needs to see that. Come May, whatever, 6th or whatever we decided, that kid's going to sign a huge contract if he's able to put us on the path, because that is a guy, after his first year of playing for the entirety of the year, that's the guy you can build around. So Aaron has it right. Let's pump the brakes a little bit, but God forbid if that guy puts it all together, we should be celebrating, getting our crowns out. I'm going to ditch the shovels, burn them all to the ground.
Well, Schmitty, my head, I can't, with my head, I can't argue with anything you just said there. Sounds very reasonable. But with my heart, I mean, you see text messages going back to 2020 there, and I'm calling for us to draft Jordan Love. I can't stop this hype train now. I'm ready. Talk about crowns. I'm ready to get a bronze bust and send it off to Canton, Ohio here for this guy in anticipation of what's to come. So there's no slowing down for me. I'm on this hype train no matter what. That said, I think we took time to celebrate and parade around and pat ourselves on the back for how prescient and what good prophetic football analysts we are here. I think we owe this guy an apology at the same time. Joe Barry, wow, the defense came to play against Patrick Mahomes and against the Lions, who have been a heck of an offense over the last couple of years, forcing turnovers, scoring touchdowns, making stops at the end of the game. When Pat Mahomes has the ball down one score, you bet on Pat Mahomes every time, and our defense said, heck no, not without some controversy. We'll dive into that here too momentarily. But what do you have to say to Joe Barry, Dad?
I'm gonna say what I said before. Give me 3 games to see what happens, but certainly at this point, there's some backpedaling that needs to be done. And I think you're looking at what LaFleur had in mind, which is, and really this kind of goes back to Jordan Love in a strange way. You think about the motions that you saw there, the loop-de-loop motion with our fullback, the jet sweeps, the reverses off the jet sweeps. How many times did Aaron Rodgers audible out of those to run pass options so that LaFleur never got deep enough into his playbook to run the stuff he wants to run? And you just did not see that kind of a game when Aaron Rodgers, there was always an RPO to Devontae Adams with some prayer shot down the field last year. And I don't think you got to see LaFleur develop his play scheme throughout the game so that he gets to those plays he needs in the third and fourth quarter like he did in this game. And it was masterful to watch. So between Jordan Love being the stand-up guy that he is, and I'm not trying to denigrate Aaron at all. He was at a different place in his career, but I think Love and LaFleur trust and believe in each other more and more. It allows Joe Barry to play a complementary style of defense where you can let them run up and down the field a little bit, stop the big plays in the red zone, and that is a winning formula when Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur are allowed to get into their bag. So
Yeah.
with that being said, it's almost an apology to LaFleur and Barry, because I think this is what LaFleur envisioned Barry being able to do in the total scheme of offense, defense, complementary football, if that makes any sense.
It does. It sure did all come together too. It the perfect moment at Lambeau Field. As we said, against the defending Super Bowl champs, it really came together there. So we got to see it repeatedly. We've seen it a couple times in a row. Schmitty, do you have any words for Joe Barry and that defense, Matt LaFleur as well?
Winning cures all, doesn't it? When you start winning football games, you start thinking that these guys might be competent and know what th're doing. And when you rattle off wins like they have in the last couple of weeks, You don't look at just Matt LaFleur, Joe Barry. You start looking to see, like Gar said, Goody winning the GM of the Year award. I mean, that's definitely in the cards for a guy that trotted out a 24-year-old football team on average. So that's exciting to see. I do want to say, Griffey, we should not only apologize to Mr. Joe Barry at this podcast. Myself, I need to apologize to the guy on the offense, AJ Dillon. We certainly need that man to be efficient on offense, and he's played really spectacular. But back to the defense, I think Gar should take the heat on this one. But I'll back him up. We might need to apologize to our friend Darnell Savage and consider maybe paying this guy a little bit of the dough. He had a very nice game coming back from injury. Griffey, Gar's making that face that I know all too well. Had a pass breakup, was flying around the field. Our boy Barry had these guys ready to play. You hold the Kansas City Chiefs to 19 points. It's a job well done any day of the week versus any team, especially when you're going up against an MVP quarterback. So, job well done. Our Heinies are in the air. Joe Barry, we are very, very sorry. You just might know what you're doing. Get us to the playoffs, and you're extended, my friend. And no one's going to want to see you walk.
Well, and additionally, the stops we had in the red zone in the first half, deep in the red zone, the stop on the 2-point conversion, they put up the Chiefs' percentage on 2-point conversions, and it was ridiculous. I'm forgetting the exact number, but I was just highly impressed by those short yardage goal-to-goal type situations. We were able to hold them to minimal points, so that was cool to see. I do want to talk a little bit about the end of the game, and if you watch the media at all today, all they could talk about was the hail. It was ridiculous. So let's break down a couple of these calls. There are 4 of them as I see it. Maybe you guys, and there's a 5th too. So let's talk about these. I'll put up the video as we go through it. Of course, we start out here. There's no ambiguity. This in the referee specialist that came in on the broadcast said it as well. This is clearly a legal hit. Schmitty, we'll start out with you on this one. What were your thoughts on some of these end of the game calls and starting out with this one in particular?
Absolutely legal. You couldn't tell me otherwise, Griffey. When stuff like this happens, I know, like, the refs, like, they have to do a makeup call. Like, it just has to come back, right? Like a boomerang. They make a bad call, we got to get a makeup. You get a makeup in the play that we're seeing on our screen right now. That was a clear and obvious pass interference. The third one that comes to mind for me is the very end of the game, the Hail Mary. We're seeing it on the screen now. It's so tough to call that in real time. There is a judge right on the goal line there. If they're going to call it, I mean, he's literally 5 yards away from that play. The fact that it doesn't get called, uh, it's really a blunder on the Zebras to not be able to get their flag out for those 2 plays. And we're still up 8 points, right? Like, they still have to get that 2-point conversion in, but you got to throw the flag. But we didn't deserve that extra 15 yards, so Chiefs didn't deserve that 15 yards. So I'm ebbs and flows. There's balances to it all. I'm sure we're going to get screwed against one of these teams that were 8-point favorites again. Expect it because it happens in literally every game in the NFL.
Well, I'm going to play that. Oh, go ahead, Schmitty.
Go ahead. No, this is the best drama on TV, Griffey. And they know that Mr. Goodell in his high golden chair, he just wants to see drama because then you, me, and Gar start talking about it.
Well, I just wanted to play these clips again because they went by kind of quick here. But, Dad, I want to get your thoughts on the end of the game calls here and the media reaction. It seemed like they were just dying to discredit the Packers and take away from what they did out on the field there on Sunday night.
Well, with my tongue in my cheek a little bit, if you watch that Mahomes play, watch this. He clearly hits our Packer out of bounds and sends him flying into the bench. That should be 15 yards the other way, for the love of God. I mean, come on, what's going on here? What's going on out there? Anyway, seriously, that's a horrendous call, and they had to know it. And they even stood by it after the game, which just blows my mind. So here, let's take a little reality check. If they don't
How
get
about
that
this one, too?
50-yard
This is
call, and this one I
clear
was
and
nuts.
obvious.
I'm sorry, the chick with the ponytail, get her out of there. She's done. I've had enough of it. Play football or else you don't know the game. I'll probably get some calls on that, but whatever. Whoever makes that call should be relieved of their duties. So if you eliminate those two plays, you run 40 seconds off the clock. You're now at the 35-yard line instead of the 40-yard line going in, and that interference call to MSV doesn't happen because they don't run that play. And they're not going deep on that play. So it changes the complexion of the game when you get the first two bad calls, and then it allows the next two. And God knows we've had our share. We had horrendous offside calls on fourth downs in one of our early losses, 2 in a row because the guy lined up an inch offside or some ridiculous thing. And so what you realize, let's give credit where credit is due here. Patrick Mahomes said it the right way. Stand up guy. I'm not looking for a flag there. I need to make the plays to win the game. And I think teams and coaches that recognize that good teams have to overcome calls are the ones that coach their teams to be winners. And that's where we need to be too. That we got to make the plays to overcome some of those calls. We got them this time. We've had games in the past that cost us games where we didn't get them. So I don't need to hear it anymore from the Chiefs fans. And Chiefs fans, if you want to see an egregious error in judgment, take a look at our Seattle games and the calls in the end zone against Seattle and Russell Wilson circa 8 to 10 years ago. Doesn't get any more brutal than that. So I don't have any pity for you. We won the game. We thoroughly outplayed you, and stop crying in your beer and lace up your shoes and get ready for the next game.
If anything could be said for the refs, at least they kind of screwed things up in a way that evened out pretty well. So I think that was the only silver lining there, as far as I'm concerned. Maybe we'll get another shot at these guys, and we won't have to worry about the officiating in that one. That would require seeing the Chiefs in February, of course, but we won't get ahead of ourselves that way. We do have a matchup much more soon, much more quickly than that. We're playing the New York Giants, the New York Football Giants, on Monday night coming up here. They announced today they will be starting Tommy DeVito. There was a little chatter about Tyrod Taylor maybe getting an opportunity, but it's going to be DeVito, it sounds like. And Schmitty, I just want to get your early thoughts on our matchup on Monday night here.
Yeah, the Packers are 6.5-point favorites as it stands right now. I really actually enjoy the Giants football team. They're on a little ascension themselves. They kind of got a little bit of makeup that we do, a younger roster. They've been offloading some senior talent to some different teams, and they're just riding high on a kid that I don't think he was at all touted as a high draft pick or not thought of, and he's just winning football games. I think giant grit. I really like the makeup of the Giants as a kid. My dad had me on the blue and red. Always had a soft spot for the team. Ron Dane comes to mind. I really enjoyed the Giants. Um, I'm really concerned that the Packers, again, we talked about how impressive, rattling off 3 wins now against teams that they're going to be favored against. I'm really concerned that we emptied the tank and we're not going to be able to respond in this game. So, Griffey, the Packers, they're going to lose this game, Griffey. They're going to lose by 6 points. I'm just really concerned. I'm nervous that we don't have it all put together yet. We don't have that solid foundation. I'll eat crow here next week if Matt LaFleur can keep this train rolling and keep the guys on a high. I'm just concerned about our energy, not really anything about how the Packers are playing right now or the Giants. I'm just not sure if we get out of bed and we're up and at 'em for this game.
Dad, what are your thoughts versus the New York Giants here?
We certainly had a very unexpected and negative trend last year early in the year when we played the Jets, the Giants, and Washington, if memory serves me. And
And the Patriots and Bailey Zappi too in that mix.
And we just did get by him, if I remember right. But our 4-time MVP couldn't get it done against any of those middling teams, to say at the best for them. However, I am not going to be picking against the Packers again this year in the regular season. For whatever reason, I'm a believer that Matt LaFleur will have the team ready. Now, Schmidt's right. If we have some calls go against us and the kicker gets icy again, but I don't think so this week. I think that the boys will get it done, but I do not expect it to be easy, and I expect that we're going to have to dig deep and pull her out on a pretty tightly contested game on Monday night.
Well, we've been used to the last couple weeks here being heavy underdogs. This week it looks like we're a 6.5 point favorite on the road as it stands here. So the shoe's on the other foot, and how do we respond to that? We don't have a lot of data to base this on. This young Packers team hasn't been the favorite in this way very many times. And so I don't totally know what we're going to get. It was easy to get up, as we said, for the last two games. Now we're the ones with a little bit of a target on our backs. At least, the Giants have been paying attention to what we did, I'm sure, and they would get a whole heck of a lot of joy in knocking us off. I think you said it just right, Dad. It's going to be a hard-fought game. I think we do find a way to get it done. The composure we saw out of Jordan Love, I think he took a step forward and one that he is not likely to take a step back and regress from. Is every game going to look as good as what we saw this week? No. But I think he is everything we hoped he would be, and he's going to be the difference in another big win. And let's take a look at, as you like to say, the gonculator here, Dad. Let's see,
Right.
just for fun as we close the show, at what that would make our playoff situation look like. We're up to 70% as we check in. If we get it done against the Giants and nothing else goes our way, everything else in a vacuum, it's starting to get pretty darn likely that we see ourselves playing in the postseason. So we'll continue to take things one week at a time, reel things back in a little bit, but I'm glad we got a chance to celebrate. Sure was fun breaking it down with you guys tonight. I want to give you both a chance to leave our viewers with any final thoughts. Schmitty, what do you have for the folks back home?
Packers Corner faithful, what a 3 weeks this has been. You stuck with us for the good course of 3 months now. God bless you. You've seen the highs, you've seen the lows, and I really believe that we are on a path to success. We are ascending. There's a lot of ascension happening amongst the ranks of our young team, and I can't wait to talk more about it next week. Griffey, I didn't give you a score, 23-17 for the Giants on Monday Night Football, but God bless it. 6 years, $245 million. I'll be dropping my piggy bank off on Lombardi Avenue, and this is where we're going to head, Griffey. This is our guy. Love it or hate it, he's the man.
I love it. Dad, closing thoughts for us here?
Well, now, for those of you who are worried about having to crown anybody or whatever, crown them or kick them to the curb, hey, listen, there's another option here. All you do is you go to the liquor cabinet, you get your royal crown out, you put a little ice in the glass, and you throw it. You pour about a shot and a half in there, and you just crown yourself right down the hatch. Sip on that baby and live at large, and you don't have to crown Jordan, just crown yourself. So get her done, boys. After the game's all over, we'll have a little celebration and we'll all crown ourselves.
Well, I sure do love it. It was great getting together with you, Dad, for the big victory this week. We'll have to get maybe the whole Packers corner together for a big matchup down the stretch here. Pleasure
Enjoy
breaking it down with you,
everybody,
gentlemen.
because these are the good old days right here.
Yes,
Love you
sir.
all. Go Pack.
Have a good night, guys. Take care.
Be good.